Hey guys, welcome back to the Ennui Talk podcast, your favourite podcast that you all listen to, definitely. And we've got another guest on the podcast, another one. I can't do it formally. Apparently, I'll introduce you first, of course. Kudos is back on the podcast. How are you?
Did you say Emmanuel?
Emmanuel, yeah. Emmanuel.
That is my full name. That is my full
It
name.
is.
You swore in the start, by the way. There goes your AdSense.
Look, do you really think that I have enough subscribers and views to get AdSense? No.
Good point. But to be fair, you don't want to jeopardize yourself for when that does happen.
True.
You don't want to be like Andrew James Miller in the chat here, who's half copyright claim to hell and back, and it isn't earning a single red cent from any of his videos.
What a poor soul, not earning any AdSense, earning that $1 that he could possibly.
It does. It does. It's weird because like a lot of my, because if you have a decent back catalog, when one video pops off, all the other ones get lifted up. And the difference between a limited ad video and a fully monetized video is insane.
I can imagine.
It's like 10 times more cash. So it's like if that one F word at the start is going to penalize you, it probably isn't worth it.
Well, that's probably a good thing that I separated all the podcasts on a separate channel, because there are a lot of swears that get tossed out in this. You can
podcast. Swear in it. It's just the first 30 seconds or a minute. Yeah. So
it's interesting, isn't it?
Talking about topics.
It's interesting. What I was going to say was, to people who don't know, because apparently I just start rambling and then we just talk about stuff and nobody knows who the guest is. You make commentary videos of people who don't actually know. I don't know, internet-based sort of stuff. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
You put out what was your recent video that took off 600,000 views or some shit like that now? I think it's your most viewed now, is it?
I think it's close to my most viewed. Hold on. I made a cyberpunk video.
Oh, that's right.
That's unrelated to that. Yeah, it's a cyberpunk video. It is a cyberpunk. I can't remember. Just watch James Miller's cyberpunk video. It's much better than mine.
Absolutely, 100% agreed.
Yeah, but it's that one's on almost 750k, so that's doing all right.
God damn. What I was going to say was, yes. Did that really carry over into increasing your overall like monthly views in the last? Well, since it's been released, sort of thing. Has it sort of carried on to other videos?
Yeah, well, that one came about as a lot of the views on that came from me collaborating with the internet historian, the legend, on his channel, and he linked that video in the description of his one.
Yeah.
So that's, it's hard to know like how much of it is that and how much of it is the algorithm, because I think the algorithm did, have a chunk to play in that too. But yeah, definitely it's when one video gets lifted up, all your other ones will start getting some traction, and then there could be some other like sleeper hits in there too that can start to take off, and then it can like just be like a domino effect. Like one gets big, and then like now this other one's popping off, all this other one's popping off. That especially happened with a friend of mine, a friend of the show, Ordinary Things, because he has a really good consistent catalog of content, similar topics, similar thumbnails, and titles and everything. And when one of his videos popped off, I think it was his soda one, just everything else like started popping off at the same time, and he went from like 50k to about 400k in about like 1 or 2 months. So yeah, that's why you want to make nice evergreen content, in my opinion anyway. Well, okay, there's a lot of avenues to success on YouTube, but if you're making the content that I make, which is not the content that you make, then
no, it's very, very different. But that's the thing. Like you only started sort of recently, recently, I guess, opposed to me, who started like 7 years ago, and I'm not doing very well. But you played it very well. Like you played your cards. You were very smart. I guess the collaboration helped in the beginning. Actually, because I did a few of the workshops with the Changer guys, Changer Studios, and there was a lot of stuff in there where it's like I didn't do a bunch of this stuff for many, many years. Those workshops are just like YouTube based things. Like I know how to make a decent thumbnail. I know how to make a decent title, but that's like not all to it. Like, you can have the best thumbnail, best title, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like if your video is too long or you don't get into it straight enough, blah, blah, blah. There's so many keys to just not even like building an audience or like the bigger stuff. It's just like making a video people want to watch and the majority of people want to watch.
Yeah, it's their stuff is like Change Studio. Shout out to those guys. Like they lent me their green screen for the last 2 videos.
Oh, really? Good boys.
Yeah,
good boys.
They I actually make their thumbnails as well.
Oh, but, really?
They a lot of their like workshops are fantastic because it's a lot of stuff that seems obvious once you hear it, but like you might not consider. Obviously, like title, thumbnail, blah blah blah. Like that's all obvious, but yeah, just things like trying to get into the topic in the first like 30 seconds to a minute, not wasting people's time. Programming, making good content that is actually going to be watched by a general audience. I think a lot of it comes down to like empathy, like putting yourself in the audience's shoes and thinking, all right, I've never seen this arsehole's channel in my life. Why would I give them a chance? Especially when you're very small, because a lot of people just see big numbers and be like, well, it has to be good. But when it's like you've got like 100 views or 1,000 views, it's like people really have to be willing to take a risk on you. To use their hard-earned time.
Oh, that's exactly right. Like, and it's funny how it's like I looked at okay, here's a really good example because I was talking to Ant,
Yes.
good old Ant from Change Studios,
Shout out to
and
Ant.
because I got one of the 15-minute, 20-minute like just little Zoom calls, and we had a little chat about my channel and stuff like that. And it's realistically, I look at it now and I feel like the biggest fucking idiot. So I put out a video. Oh, this is like it was the first quote unquote episode of the Ennui Office. The real episode, and it was going to any length to get the perfect shot, and it was me laying in the spa. And the concept of that video is pretty much it's me putting together the title sequence in my sort of exaggerated version of me, CEO, whatever you want to call it. And he said, so when he read that title, going to any length to get the perfect shot, he like automatically saw it as a trick shot video, and that makes sense, I guess, because like. Sure, I'm coming from the producer's standpoint. When I think shot, I think, oh, okay, it's a film shot. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure. But then he's like, well, the general public probably isn't going to go and say, oh, it's a film shot because you look nice in the thumbnail. The exact quote was, the exact quote he said was, "This looks like it's a trick shot video." And if that's the thumbnail for it, it's a pretty shit thumbnail for a trick shot video because it's just me sitting in a fucking spa.
Yeah,
and that it makes so much sense. So I changed the title of the video itself, and obviously it hasn't really made a difference right now. But there's many reasons for that. But it's little things like that. It's like you have to really dumb it down. You really have to dumb it down.
Yeah, you have to assume that the average person on YouTube is a fucking idiot because they are, myself included. So like you really have to just be like, all right, well, how do I, without like going to like clickbait levels, you don't want to be full fucking like, whoa, you won't believe this, but you need like a little bit of that, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And actually one thing with your channel, I was just going to say was like, it comes off as like a good look just from the general view without watching videos. Oh, it's a commentary channel of some sort, but you mix in your humor very, very well. That there is a fine balance to that. Like you don't want to come off as a too serious of a channel and then include jokes and people go, why is he making jokes about cyberpunk? I'm just here for the facts. Do you know what I mean? Like there is a fine balance.
That did happen a lot on the cyberpunk video.
Oh really?
I think that one was I think I might have tried a little bit too hard on that one. I'm still happy with that video overall, but yeah, there was definitely like, and maybe it was just because there was like it got a big influx of new viewers out of nowhere. There was a lot of comments being like, "Oh, this is like a bit too try hard," or you're trying too hard to be funny or whatever. Which like I haven't gotten on like any other videos really. But I think what happened was it was like I only had 3 weeks to make the entire video, and I was like, this is like such a big, because we only found out from Historian like when his video was dropping, about a month before. So I was like, fuck, I have to do this entire thing. Like really quickly. So I felt like the script was a bit rushed, and like I might have. I felt like because I was like, oh, this is going to be like my big break. There's all these new eyes going to be on it. I really need to try super hard to be like really funny, and I think that like you can do too much.
I like how you go like, oh, I need to make it like really funny, really good. And the first joke in the video is Mike Hawk.
Oh no, not that video. No.
Oh, you meant the other video.
I'm in Cyberpunk. Yeah,
in Cyberpunk. Yeah.
So in the new video, I definitely like. It's a lot more dialed back.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's still like there's still a lot of my humor. I think it's Tom said this. He says it felt more like one of my older videos where it was a lot less. A bit more information heavy, which I think is a good place to be in.
Oh god, yeah, you got to find that balance. There is a balance, and it's like you're still small enough, you're big enough to have an audience and to like obviously make a living, blah blah blah. But you're small enough that you have to keep a lot of this in mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like for sure. Because once you get big enough, you can just fucking do anything. It's like not anything, but you get to a point where you're so big that like your fans are just they're there for that.
Yeah,
like you can put out a video that gets like 500,000 views or 1 million views, and all of them are your fans, and so they're just gonna like whatever you put into it. It's when you're like in that growing phase where like suddenly you're going up, 50K or some shit subs, and people I have to like acclimate to who you are, and they don't get that. That's when you kind of get these comments that are like, oh, this wasn't very funny, or I thought this could have been better, or whatever. And like it's good to. Some of those comments can just be like assholes, but some of them can be. If you get enough of them about one topic, it's like, okay, maybe I should address this point because it's clearly like a consistent critique that people have.
Oh god, yeah. You got to. That's the thing. If everybody's calling you an asshole, then. If you think everybody else is an asshole, there's a fucking saying, I don't know, but yeah, but if people keep saying shit about it, even like if it doesn't come off as constructive whatsoever, you sort of got to take that.
Yeah. If you get one that's just because like I'd get the occasional one back in the day because you're always going to get assholes. So it's like, but you'll get ones that's like, oh, this wasn't funny, and it's like, yeah, but like every other comment I've gotten is saying this is funny. So like I think it's just not for you. And even on the Cyberpunk one, I still got like a shitload of comments saying this is really funny and this is great. So it's like it's not bad, but if there is like a consistent underlying theme amongst critiques, even if half of them are just mean about it, it's like there's probably still something there, and it's probably important to not like bend over backwards for people who critique your channel, because a lot of them could just be like it's not their kind of video. So like, why are you going to pander to people who aren't into that kind of thing? But yeah, there's definitely, it's good to not just write everyone off as haters, because I know people like that who just like they see every negative comment as, oh, they're just being haters, so I'm just going to ignore them. But like sometimes the hater comments are actually good advice that they refuse to see,
Oh god, yeah. And like, I think that comes with the concept of like having people around you who sort of you can show your content and actually give like constructive criticism, or you don't want yes men. And I think for me personally, like a long time, it was like I would show people that there's two sides to it. There's showing people who are sort of like in the Ennui circle who like sort of make content with me and they go, oh yeah, that's pretty good, blah blah blah. And then there'd be people who were so much outside, even like the internet circle. It's like that would not work. That's not funny. That's not like don't do that. There's a really fine balance to that. So like I think you should only have like one or two people realistically, and like. I think I've found that now. And that's probably what's affected my content as well. It's like, I think I've said this before on a podcast. I was like, you know what? I've done so much research and I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to change the YouTube game. And then I release like fucking 15-minute comedy videos that like get no traction whatsoever. And I just keep doing it for years. And I just keep doing it. And it's like, nobody told me no, and I had a feeling like that was the way it was going to go. And I guess maybe that's what it was. It was like, I had a feeling this is where it's going to go. So more for like slightly more long form content in that comedy genre. And it was wrong. But when you're the beginning, you just got to go with what's happening, with what's working. That's the thing. I mean,
as long as you're making anything like that's, but it's definitely, it's good to be reflective and see what's working, what isn't. And I guess the other thing is often people can be you make content you want to make. I think that's like first and foremost most important. But if you make content, if you enjoy content that might be a bit more niche, that might be a bit harder to market, that can be a bit difficult. I don't really know what the solution is there.
But then people say you need to niche down. And it's like, because you're being too general. And it's like, fuck me, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah, well, I mean like genuine niche. Like making a video on, making videos about video games, that's technically a niche. It's a very large niche, but it's a niche. And then you could say drill down to like, oh, I'm going to make videos on Overwatch or something. But then if you're making like, oh, I'm making videos exclusively about fucking, I don't know, this one character in Overwatch. But even then it's not like, it's just like weird fan cam shit of them. It's not even like tutorials or something. It's like, yeah, that's probably maybe just go up a level, go up a niche.
See, it's funny how it's like with commentary videos, it's more like you could just keep making, like for you've sort of found your niche in sort of like internet-based commentary, but about stuff that not everybody's covering, like not just TikTok stars or cringy reality shows from like 20 years ago. Like you're not watching like MTV Next or Room Raiders or shit like that. I actually really liked those shows back in the day. They were
can't say I've ever seen Room Raiders.
Really? It was like there was 3 people, like it's usually like I don't know, Tom, Dick and Harry, and then a girl called like Beatrice is like looking through their rooms. And then she goes like, oh, this is really good. Oh, he's got a sports headband. So he must be athletic. Oh, but he's got a body pillow in his cupboard, which means he's a weeb, and that's a thumbs down from me. And then she'll pick the one who she wants to go on a date with.
Oh, really, sure, just based on their room. Interesting.
It's a very
it's a good concept for a show.
Yeah. It is a good. That's the thing. A lot of them are like really like, I don't know. I think for the time they like, because I like Next. There was a show called Next, and it was a really good format where it was like just 7 guys on a bus, and then he would come out. They would come out, and then she would go every minute. They would earn $1. And I think it was like up to 60 minutes. I think maybe longer. And then it was
she could say next $60.
Pretty much. But yeah, they would go on the date until she said next, and then they would go back on the bus. The next person would come, unless she decided, okay, we've finished this date. Would you like to go on another? And if they say yes, then it's like happily ever after, whatever. And then the other guys in the bus get to go, oh yeah, that girl was a slut anyway. Thumbs down. And then it was like, that's the concept of the show.
The nice guy comes out.
Pretty much. But then it was really weird. Like this, I've seen some clips, and it was like all the boys in the bus were like, "Oh yeah, she looks like a bit of a whore anyway. Like, oh, she looks like a dumb bitch, blah blah blah." And they would go out and be like, "Yeah, we're chads. Yeah, you should let's go on this go-kart thing, and I'll flirt with you." And then even though like 10 minutes ago on the show, I just called you like this dumb whore, and shit like that. It was really MTV humor.
I always wonder what like. Do they go back and watch that afterwards? Like, let's say they did go out on, like, they actually ended up hitting it off. Like, she looked like a but she has a nice personality or something. And, you know, they end up going on that second date, and then that tape gets released, like, on MTV, and it's like her new boyfriend talking about how she looks like a skank. I always see about that, like, on The Bachelor as well. Because there's so many things like that where the chick's like, yeah, when I first saw him, I didn't really think. Actually, no, sorry, it's not The Bachelor. It's more like Married at First Sight, because they always have that. Yeah, when I first saw him, I didn't really think much. Like or the guy's like, yeah, she's not really like my type, eh? But then like they kind of hit it off by the end of the show, and it's like, is she gonna see that now?
I remember on one of the recent Married at First Sight. Is it an Australian? It's not an Australian-based show. That's an American-based show, isn't it?
I think it's an American show, but we have an Australian one here. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one, and it was the whole marketing scheme coming up to that season, and it was like, men and women, married at first sight, whatever. But there's one bloke, and he thinks that women should be in the kitchen still, and then he'd have his like arms crossed, and it would like be a clip, and then he came off like that, like very very much, and he seemed like an arsehole. But it's like, fuck me, that's like his character has just been like he would not be able to get like a woman after this. Like it'd be very very hard.
He's also like walking around the street with these like massive billboards of his face. Like even New Zealand, I remember they had that with like The Bachelorette, I think. No, maybe it was The Bachelor. It was one of those anyway. And yeah, they had like big billboards with like, it was either like slogans or maybe quotes from the girls, and then like a massive picture of their face. And it's like, it's New Zealand. It's a small country. People would see that and be like, oh, I know her. it's
it's so
kind of
funny.
a weird character assassination kind of that, like, you just sign up for these shows like, oh, I'll just go on The Bachelor, it'll be fun, it's something to do, you know, a good story, and then you end up getting like blown the fuck out on national TV, and that you just sound like a total bitch.
But some of them have gone like well, obviously, like that's the whole American thing as well. But it's probably it's bigger in Australia because there's only a certain ceiling where you go on a reality show and your media career takes off. Like there was a guy called Maddie who was like The Bachelor on like a few years ago, got married to the girl who won it, which is amazing. Good on him. And now he's like hosts radio. He has a radio show that he hosts in Sydney or Melbourne, and it's huge. And he's a huge influencer now, and that's crazy to me. Like, it makes me feel like, should I go on like Big Brother or something and like just make a scene?
You'd be good on The Bachelorette.
Do you think?
No, I'd see that. I'd pay to watch that. I think these days it's definitely a lot easier to transition, but I think for like back in the 2000s, if you're on a reality TV show, that was just like afterwards you were on a reality TV show. It seems like the only thing you could do is like, every time you see celebrity porn, it's always like, oh, this girl was in one season of The Bachelor. It's like, it's not really a celebrity.
No, it's really not. Like, 16 and Pregnant was another good example. There's a girl on there, and a few years later, she did porn. And then a few years later, she was on, I think it was like Dr. Drew, where it was the rehab. And it was, so she went from 16 and Pregnant to, I did a sex tape, to I'm addicted to like hard drugs. It's a good character arc, really. Like imagine the Lifetime biopic. Is that the term? Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different forms of media of her that you can consume. But these days you can be like was it Bad Barbie, the chick, the Cash Me Outside girl?
Oh yeah, Bad Baby. She's good.
Is it? Yeah, you just have a good catchphrase, and now you're just like an influencer out of nowhere. It's
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about this like recently. Like I feel like, because I'm sort of like more of a, like, I'm not like you. Like you make videos and you make good ones, and then that's your sort of sphere. I can feel like I could go into sort of the character aspect as well. Like Tom has actually said this. Tom Videogo, shout out my man. He said that I'd be really good on TikTok, and I could sort of like delve into that world pretty heavy, I think.
Yeah. Have you got a TikTok?
I do. The only thing is I've only put out me doing a little rap as a duet. But I'm working on some more stuff. Like I want to sort of, I think it'll be more like duetty sort of things and like stitching things together. And I think like that's because like that's the basis of the comedy. Maybe I'll have some original jokes that I can sort of get in there. But I'm also a busy man. It's like you don't want to just spend too much. I don't want to be a 25-year-old man that spends all my time on TikTok trying to make content, because that in itself feels very sad.
I have a TikTok. I made a bunch of videos for it and then never uploaded them. I uploaded one of them, and then I talked to the Changer guys. I was like, hey, what are some like best practices for uploading to TikTok? And they got back to me, and it was like, because I'd uploaded one video and I just hadn't really put any hashtags or anything on it. I was like, oh fuck, I'll just put this up here and see what happens. And then they were like, oh no, take, like, you probably better just to delete that and like re-upload it with like these things here. And then that was before the Cyberpunk video, and then I got super busy working on that, and I just haven't uploaded anything since. And yeah, like you said, it's like I don't really have the time to do TikTok stuff, but like it would be kind of fun just to like throw some shit out there if inspiration strikes. Before, like fun, one thing I've been doing, small stories. Yeah, sorry, you go.
Oh no, that's smart. Like, and like one thing I've been doing is recently, and I've actually made myself do it. The last few podcasts, starting from this week, there's on the Ennui TikTok, there'll be clips of the podcast. And
I saw that actually in your channel. Yeah, it looks really good.
And all I've done is just, get some caption, because I think it needs captions, especially for TikTok. I think it just sort of grabs people that little bit more. And it doesn't take me long. Like I just go to rev.com, upload like the clip. If it's less than a minute, it does the auto transcribe, and it's free, even though it says 25 cents per minute. If I go under a minute, I'm spot on. And Adobe is introducing an auto transcribe very soon. It's in the beta right now, so that'll help a lot. But I think you
can export caption data from YouTube as well.
Oh yeah, that's what I've done for actual clips of the shows I've already done. Like if I haven't uploaded it, and with podcasts it's harder because it is so big as well. Like realistically, I could probably do it. That's probably the smarter thing to do, actually, realistically. But yeah, I think just putting out some, because I've seen there's there's a podcast in Perth by two, like, I don't know, Chad looking guys, but they've like developed a bit of an audience just on TikTok, like 300,000, 400,000 followers. And I follow them on Instagram and they've got a few thousand sort of followers and they're getting a decent listenership. And it's like, well, it's better than what I fucking got now. So why not try it? No.
Yeah, we're planning to do that with Beef Boys as well. Actually, we've got some plans to throw some like the best bits up on TikTok. That's Andrew's job for the next month. Andrew listening live at the Ennui Live Lounge.
Woo.
Be sure to tune in live at the Ennui Live Lounge. You can figure out how to get there. I'm not telling you, but you know, if you search high and low, I'm sure you can get here for the next recording.
It's a secret little hideaway. You'll find it. You'll just have a look. Use your eyes.
But yeah, so that's exciting because I feel like we've got some good bits that would translate well into TikTok.
Oh god, yeah. And I just want to talk about that. You have a podcast called Beef Boys. That's all we're talking about. Next topic.
Yes, Beef Boys. We started a podcast called Beef Boys because actually it started. I don't think that we've even talked about this on the podcast. This is an exclusive. Actually, no, I think we talked about it maybe on an episode that hasn't come out yet. But we, because we just have a group chat. It's just us, and we were like, just always shooting the shit and like sharing videos and critiquing each other's stuff. And I don't know. There was one night where I think all of us were like a bit tipsy. Well, maybe it was just me, but I was tipsy and everyone else was just vibing. And we were talking for fucking hours, and it just got into like, I don't want to say anything because some of the stories are personal, and also some of them will be good for Beef Boys episodes one day. But they were just like we were just dying laughing at these fucking stories that we were sharing of like just things we'd done, and we were like, God damn it, we should be recording this. Like this is gold. And yeah, and then we were just like, well, fuck it, why don't we? Like what's stopping it? Like we always hang out on Discord and work together anyway. So yeah, fuck it, let's just record it. And so we started recording it, and now we are still recording it as we speak. This is actually getting uploaded as a Beef Boys episode.
No, it's not. It's clearly not. This is clearly the Ennui Talk podcast hosted by your host Matthew Winter, famous CEO.
Courtney, bleep that. Yeah, cut that.
No, don't bleep that. Please don't. No, but it's because that starts off with a story as like, oh yeah, we hang out all the time, we're on Discord all the time, let's start a podcast. But I think it's a difference because you're all like, I guess because you're all in that sort of creators sphere as well. Like if it was just like four guys. Actually, before this, I googled Beef Boys on YouTube, which is not actually googling Beef Boys, it's YouTubing Beef Boys, and there was actually a Beef Boys podcast before that. I found it on YouTube. Where is it? Let me just scroll.
It's called The Beef Boys or something, isn't it?
Yeah, and there was like two timestamps on the video, and it was like, now I can't even fucking find the video, but like one was like, the whole straw debate, LOL, and that was like the major topic for the episode. And it was like these two guys, and they're recording in a car as well. And it's like,
yeah, we should record in a car. Actually, that's a great idea. Andrew, write that down.
Write that down. What a great idea.
In a car. Yeah,
you're all in your own cars driving around separately, and you're going to try and navigate while also having a podcast.
Yeah, it's like that Yu-Gi-Oh spin-off where they're riding motorcycles and playing cards at the same time.
It's fucking dumb. What the fuck? What kind of spin-off is that?
Yeah, it was not a good one. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we checked that the name isn't taken. I think that was the first. Well, here's what happened. The first episode, we were like trying to figure out if it was what it was going to be called, because we weren't even thinking we were going to release the first episode. But then we're like, fuck it, it's pretty funny. Let's just release it. But while we were deciding what the name would be, I went out to the bathroom and then I just came back and everyone was like, yeah, the Beef Boys is good. And I'm like, all right.
You walked in on a magnificent name.
Yeah, well, I suggested it, and then I was like, because we've had Beef Boys kicking around our head for like months now, and then I was like, oh, what about would Beef Boys work? You guys Google that and see if it already exists. And then I went to the bathroom and came back, and they were like, yeah, it's fine. So I guess it's okay. It's a bit late now.
You're probably gonna get there'll be an email in one of your emails from the original Beef Boys. They'll be like, "Hey guys, just so you know, we have the trademark to the Beef Boys. You can use the singular Beef Boy, but you can't use the Beef Boys. You could be one Beef Boy. You could combine as a Meat Boy, a Super Meat Boy, perhaps."
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we should actually. That's a good idea. We should have Super Meat Boy as a as a sponsorship. Actually, we do have our first sponsorship. That's coming up soon.
Oh, really?
That was quick. Yeah.
Please, don't, if you're watching the video version, I'm actually crying right now because I've been trying this for like 7 years and I still haven't got a sponsorship yet.
It's a very good sponsor. It's very funny, but it is paid for our editor to edit for like a couple months. So
oh god, that's good. Do you actually know what Joe Rogan's first sponsor was?
Joe, no.
It was a fleshlight company.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good, and
ours is similar.
It makes sense. Oh, was it really?
Yeah, I guess you could say it's adjacent.
Interesting.
The two go hand in hand.
I'm actually actually today I'm filming a video, and it's pretty much the video is about getting our first sponsorship, but it's actually me just with random items that I'm trying to get like sponsored by. So with the Dollar Shave Club. I've got some Jocko Go Fuel, Jocko Willink, who was on Joe Rogan. He has his own like drink, and I'll be going with that. It's probably because my content is like, okay, I want to smash out a weekly video, and I'm trying to do a bit like get it out and be a bit improv-y. There's probably going to be a bunch of videos that are shit. I've cut a few videos actually recently, because I think I'm very. I can be very hit and miss sometimes with my improv. I really want to go to improv classes, actually. I'd really like to be very good at just going bang, 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 because I can be funny, but sometimes I'm not.
I mean, we're still waiting for that to happen.
You done? Is that it?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm done. I think you should do... I still think you should convert the Ennui Office into like a minute-long thing and just release a video a week of that. I think that would be a good way to get people invested in the CEO character. Because it's like and again, this is speaking from my point of view as how I consume content on YouTube, which is not, it is a very specific way, but I think a common way. Like with our friend Zenny, friend of the show Zenny. He exclusively likes like hour-long content, and he makes content that caters to that market, which is like, I know people like, I enjoy long content on occasion, like long YouTube content, but it has to be from like a creator I really like or about a topic that I'm like very interested in, and maybe I've also got nothing to do for an hour.
Of course.
So take it with a grain of salt. But when I take on, like when I search for comedy content, and I think I might have talked to you about this, but when I look for this kind of content, I'm typically looking for stuff under a minute from people I don't know. Like I'll be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll give this a try. It's under a minute. If it's under 30 seconds, it's like, well, definitely why not? Like, fuck. I click on so many weird looking meme videos that are like 5 seconds long because it's a 5-second video, and the time cost is negligible. So I mean, that could be something as well. I know it's very different to the format you've got going, but like, what would that? You could at least just try it for a couple of weeks. Like, what does a 1 minute long famous CEO episode look like? And then couple it with an interesting title, and have it be exploring different facets of trying to become a content creator. Perhaps that'd be what I would do. Good.
See, like there was one thing is that I have actually taken on that advice. Like, so the first few episodes I've done is, one was like a good, it was like for what the format was at the time, like 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Then another one was like dog shit, and it was 15 minutes, and I didn't like that. My most recent video, which was selling my first web series as an NFT, that ended up getting cut down. Like it was 6 minutes at one point, and I actually cut out all the dead air, all the dead jokes, and it cut down to, it was just over 5 minutes. And I think that's all right. But I think my ideal, I would like to get it down to like 2.5, 3. And I don't know, and you say 1 minute. Is 2 minutes too long? Like just from a first viewer's perspective?
Maybe. I think like just for like improv comedy or sketch comedy on YouTube, I'm the people I'm comparing to are like Gus Johnson, ProZD, what's the other guy's name? Anyway, a few of those guys and all of them kind of got big off, videos that are under a minute long because it's such a small like time sink for what might not be a good video. Like comedy is so subjective, and trusting a random person on YouTube with 100 subs is a real roll of the dice. So if you don't have something like the reason I was able to find a bit of traction was I was covering topics that people were interested in, and then the comedy was like sprinkled on top. So people were going for the information, and the comedy was like a nice bonus. But if you're going for straight comedy, it's either you're going to love it or you're going to absolutely fucking hate it. When it's from someone unproven, So anything under like a minute, that's like, well, I'll give you a shot. I don't know anything about you. This video looks like it could be funny, and I know that at worst I've lost 30 seconds of my life, and I can continue watching other things. That's how I view this sort of thing.
I think I can do it. Like, for example, today I'm filming a video. Well, I told you one of them, the sponsorship video, but there's another video I'm doing, and it's the whole hot tub Twitch streamer thing. And the general idea was just, hey, let's do it. I'll tape up my nipples so I don't get demonetized, and I'll wear my Sailor Moon outfit in the spa. And just a few funny jokes. I've been going quick cuts. I've been watching Logan Paul's editor's videos, and just the way he puts together a story is just fucking magnificent. Even though it's Logan Paul. I haven't watched Logan Paul much, but I did watch his Pokemon card videos, and the way that story is like put together is like brilliant,
very impressive.
And he could go longer. Those videos could absolutely be like another 4 or 5 minutes, but they're not for a good reason. I think they stick much better because of that. But yeah, actually that is food for thought. I think I will try and I'm going to try and get that under 1 minute. But then what's the difference between that and, I don't know, putting shorts on YouTube? But I guess they're consumed in a different way as well. It's a whole different sort of sphere, really.
You could try it as a short. I mean, you're saying you want to do stuff for TikTok. It's like, could you try do like your Ennui Office on TikTok? And like the cuts would be very snappy. It wouldn't be... Again, I know like the Ennui Office is meant to be more like a traditional TV show kind of vibe, but even then it's not. Even then, because that was what it was supposed to be, but that's not going to fucking work. And it was actually your advice that made me change pretty much how the entire show has been formatted. It is very, very quick. I don't know if you watched my NFT video, but it was really, really, really snappy. Like a lot of the video is. I did watch it actually. Yeah, it was a lot quicker. So if you can keep that energy up and get it under a minute, and then, I mean, to Andrew's point in the chat, who says the shorts algo is fucking wild currently. It is. It's broken right now. They're really pushing it hard. So it's like if you could make some funny shorts, make them for TikTok, and then just save them so that they don't have the watermark on it, and then upload that to your channel as well.
Easy.
Yeah, like James says, it has to be a vertical video. But if you're making it for TikTok anyway, that's what you'd be doing.
And I can do both. Like realistically, I can do a small 1 minute video. I don't know. Like I don't know. Is it better to just put it out as a short itself, or is it better to just put it as a 1 minute video? Obviously TikTok, it has its format, and I can edit it around to work with that.
I mean, if you're making it for TikTok, then it's already can be like it's ready for shorts as well. Like they both have the same vertical format, so it's like just put it on both. Fuck it, you got nothing to lose.
And then at the same time, it's like I don't want to sacrifice my what I want to do. But I tried that for fucking years and nothing happened. So it's like, why not try?
Yeah,
it's like,
fuck it. You may as well. You're in a position where anything's possible, and you can try. You're not locked into a format. So yeah, this is the best time to experiment.
And that's exactly what I'll do, I think.
Good.
I just want to be famous. I just want to live up to the name,
I just want to kill people and get away with it.
You're
I want to be
disgusting.
like, who was the guy who ran over the Irish family?
Oh, fucked if I know. I can't remember his name. Someone in the chat will know, surely. Andy.
Oh, James says it's Joe. Who's Joe? James.
Who is Joe?
James, who's Joe?
I'm just reading the chat right now.
Who's Joe Mama? James, who's Joe Mama?
are you telling me the Beef Boys have actually taken over the fucking chat right now on my podcast? This happens every single time I have a fucking guest. Somebody takes over my fucking podcast.
We should get them to talk. Can you guys do you want to turn this into an impromptu Beef Boys?
No,
James.
honestly,
James,
fuck the Beef Boys.
request to talk.